If you ever tried to build a dashboard using real business logic, custom rules, calculation, it can often take days and sometimes weeks. And that's only if you know the formulas that sit behind the actual dashboard. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can build a dashboard simply by using plain English and use Copilot in Excel to build the entire dashboard for you. So you don't actually need to know any formulas. In this video, I have a workbook set up with a number of different tabs that you can see here, including a tab for date, employee, site, and SKU details. The data contained in the tabs will help provide Copilot with context to draw upon when creating the dashboard. I also have some data as it relates to orders, inbound inventory, labor, and safety, and we will use the data here to generate our dashboard. To activate the Copilot feature in Excel, click on the Copilot icon in the toolbar. You should now see the Edit with Copilot option here. You can start by entering in your prompts to create the dashboard. If you have a simple dashboard, you can freestyle it by typing in your prompt and refine it as you go. However, if you have a complex dashboard that involves logic, understanding business rules and context in order to create a meaningful dashboard, I would highly recommend developing a briefing document before you start creating the dashboard in Excel. As an example, here we have a document with some guidelines around the key performance indicators and some guidelines for the dashboard. It includes details such as the purpose of the dashboard, to provide Copilot with context of what we're building, details about the available tables or worksheets, as well as rules, definitions, targets, such as what good looks like, and dashboard layout design. Back in Excel, I have uploaded the document. Before we create the dashboard, I would suggest testing Copilot to see if it understands the instructions and guidelines we provided in the brief. For the first test, I'm going to ask it to review the data model and explain how the tables relate to each other. This forces Copilot to understand structure, ensure it is aligned with the document, and does not jump ahead to building the dashboard. The next test you want to do is to test the logic and ask Copilot to create the calculations for the key performance indicators, such as order picking accuracy and order cycle time. Here I have added some rules to follow and asked it to return the results as a structured table showing KPI name and the calculated values. Now you will need to layer the performance results against your predefined targets. Here I have asked Copilot to compare each metrics against the defined targets and to apply some rules such as determining if higher or lower results are better based on KPI, classify each KPI as green, amber, or red, and to include actual target and status. I have also asked it to return a KPI summary table as a dashboard. Once you have checked off the details, you can start to build your visuals. Here I'm going to ask Copilot to create the dashboard for me with different sections, such as a summary section, as well as a section for order volume trend by month, cycle time trend, and dock to stock trend. You can customize this as required depending on your requirements. I have also asked Copilot to label and group them logically. Copilot will generate the initial draft dashboard for you. From here, you can describe the changes you want to make to it. For the first section under the summary, I'm going to ask it to delete the column called Directions and Variance Percentage. I'm also going to ask it to add conditional formatting to the actuals column using the same principle as the status column, and then to delete the status column once completed. When prompting, it's a good idea to be very specific with your requests, such as referring to column names, cells, or terms used in Excel, such as conditional formatting, to help it understand what changes are required. In section 2 under Operational Trends, I'm going to ask Copilot to add borders around the tables and also to add labels on the X and Y axis on the charts. The layout design here is visually off, so let's ask Copilot to adjust the layout of section 2 so that it is evenly distributed. In the order by volume graph, I want to highlight the current month in a different color, so let's ask Copilot to make the changes. Now looking at the graphs for cycle time and dock to stock, the labels in the x-axis is showing as 1, 2, 3 instead of the actual month. I'm going to ask Copilot to change it so that it displays the actual month, being January, February and March, and to also remove the decimal points in the labels in the y-axis. I just realized I had only mentioned the cycle time graph and not the dock to stock graph. I'm going to ask Copilot to do the same without repeating my instructions. And now you can see that by just using everyday language, you can ask Copilot to make the changes and it will interpret what you want and apply those changes for you. Now, this doesn't always happen, of course, and it may mean that you have to repeat yourself or reword your instructions. For the remaining part of the video, I'm going to speed things up. Otherwise, this would easily turn into a 1-hour walkthrough. Hopefully by now you've got a sense of how it works and how you can start building a dashboard just by describing what you want. Now that I've spent a bit of time using Copilot in Excel, there are a few things I've noticed. What it does really well is the thinking side of things. Once I gave it a clear brief, such as KPI definitions, business rules, how to calculate the metrics, and what data to include or exclude, it was actually able to apply that logic and generate the formulas automatically. And these weren't simple calculations either. It was working across multiple tables, connecting data sets, and building out metrics in a way I wouldn't have been able to do on my own. That part genuinely surprised me. Where it's still a bit clunky is the finer details. Things like adjusting row heights, formatting charts, adding in target lines, tweaking the X and Y axis, or layering visuals over tables. That part was a bit fiddly using just prompts. We got there in the end as I was trying not to manually edit the dashboard to see what it can do. We did get there eventually, but honestly it would have been quicker to just jump in and adjust those things manually. Now that you've seen how to use business logic and build dashboards in Excel, let me know in the comments below what you're building next. And as with any AI tool, it's really just going to get better over time. If you'd like to learn more about how you can level up using AI at work, make sure you subscribe to my channel and I'll catch you next time.